they could easily pull this one off on a map that they play and enjoy so much. But anyway,
Exactly.
Neo, it's our last best of one of the day. We've gone 3 so far. We've got 1 more to go. It's the biggest banger of the lot, I reckon. And
Yes.
Heroic versus Sinners. Let us get into it. Cadian has brought up a CZ. He's got armor with on this pistol round, so that is a nice boost for him. And we've got Sinners on the Tech 9 on Oscar and a bit of utility on B-Stick as well. Here we go toward A, and let's get this one started.
Yeah, of course, Sinners starting on that T-side, and Vertigo at times arguably seen as ever so slightly a T-sided map. Haiti in the raid boss here, the CZ finding the first, but Neofrag in for the quick trade pull, refresh, answers back. The man who has been a hero time and time again for this side, coming alive already in the opening round of this best of one. 4 versus 3 now. The damage dealt. Bomb still yet to go down and still posted up over towards short. Well, they need to collect this bomb. In fact, Tech 9 finding a bit of damage at Oscar, the man who was in that VT earlier, causing a few problems.
Yeah, and this is actually going to delay the time a little bit further for Sinners. They can afford to fall back off of this one. They've got one player still distracting toward the top of the A ramp. That's Zedco. But they can fall back off of this now and go back toward B if they so wish. They are wary of a flank. Oscar is sticking around toward Gap at the moment with the Tech 9. Tapping away, looking to try and grab the USP perhaps. So obviously he will be a one-hit headshot with the USP from range. Tech9's only a one-hit headshot from close up. But they are going to go back toward A. B-Stick is here, but look where Down is. He should easily have this defense. Looking for the first, looking a little bit worrying, but he does get it, and Shush is here to help as well. So that should secure it. Now it's all down to Oscar in a 1 versus 3. He has this Tech9 available. It's very possible indeed, but obviously with the lack of Kevlar, it makes it very difficult, and he's already being flanked from Tesses. Easy tap in the back from Heroic and Tesses, and they will take the CT pistol. Important to get off to a good start on CT, as you mentioned, with Vertigo definitely being a T-favoured map.
Yeah, for sure. Brilliant start, of course. And, you know, looking at this veto on paper, it seems like Sinners have really won this one, right? You know, it's a map which, for them, if we talk about just stats of the last few months, they've played it 11 times, a 55% win rate, compared to the likes of Heroic, who've played it twice and lost twice. The only question is, or the only, I guess, difference is Heroic always have a plan. Heroic always have something up their sleeve. And, of course, this is probably a map that they definitely spent a bit of time looking into, ironing out those sort of errors that had come across for them. Hence why it's now one they want to try and bring into their map pool. And I feel like Heroic always have such a deep and diverse map pool. They want to incorporate Vertigo, and now's the perfect time to try out to see all that practice has been put to good use. Oscar, though, finding the opener, Cadian out of the equation. Sinners off to a flying start, and, well, the utility being dropped across. We know it's something which is new to the meta and already put to good use.
Yeah, juggling the smokes over to teammates to make sure they have them all available. And actually, look, everyone on the T side has a smoke right now. That sets them up nicely for an execute toward the end of this round. And that makes, surely, Heroic a little bit worried in this situation. I mean, you mentioned, Sinners loving Vertigo and Heroic having not played it much and not had much success on it. To be fair, Nuke, the other option, which we spoke about, Sinners have a better, if not equal record to Heroic on that map. So you can understand why they're trying to risk Vertigo here, Heroic. They've already got off to a good start, but this is a great chance for Sinners to bounce straight back. Oscar does have that MP9. It's a very powerful SMG up close. It's basically a fast M4. So Tessus is looking for a peek, looking for some information, but literally, there's 4 players, 3 players toward the yellow top position. Shock is lurking toward middle. Will deploy a smoke, and that will alert refresh to his position. And now Sinners will creep up toward Gap. 20 seconds to go. This is where it gets dangerous.
Yeah, this is where it does get a little bit concerning here. Swinging the way forward, though. Man advantage for the T side. Of course, that MP9 could cause a bit of difference. At this close range position, could be everything. But Shock caught off guard. Didn't expect Stalin to be swinging in that position. Bomb planted, and now these FAMASs have a lot to do, but not a lot to work with. Trying to find a bullet through the smoke. Not going to connect, though. As this retake, we mentioned about those 5 smokes on the T side. They held on to the majority of them, and now in the post-bomb position, they can use it to block this rotation coming forth.
Yeah, this is very durable for Sinners in this situation. The Deagles, of course, are hard to hit these days. They need headshots, and they're getting them. Neofrag gets one. There's Zedco with a body spam and a headshot onto Shush through the smoke. That means Stan has to get out of there. There is no choice. Sinners have hit straight back here, exactly as you would expect in that after plant. It's so hard to retake the A site when you don't have the full array of utility yet, which obviously Heroic don't, having only just won in the first round. So Sinners will bounce back, 1 each. And yeah, I mean, as we mentioned, Heroic, they don't play this map as much as Sinners. They do have, the 2 maps they played on it, they have one, but it's like a month and a bit ago, so it's quite a big gap between those times. So it's been a while, and now Sinners have a great chance to put a bit of a gap between them and Heroic. If they get past this buy, they'll be up against USPs in the next. It is a scout on Cadian. We all know he can do some madness on that with Stan on the FAMAS, and of course 2 deals on Shush and Tesses. Refresh on a 5-7. Very powerful, of course. 1-shot headshot close up with that pistol. But Sinners have recovered everything, of course. FAMAS on the T side, 2 FAMASes on the T side, and an MP9 as well. They could be in a good spot here.
Yeah, I think for the definite, Sinners are not a side you can sleep on. They can cause some real problems and have done before as well. So, as we speak, they're in a comfortable position. Much better firepower in their favour, and of course already a decent amount of map control gain. They're quite spread out here, the T side. They're looking for an opening pick. They know they're going to have the better firepower. That is just the standard meta in these early rounds. So, as we speak, things in a good position. Of course, Oscar at the helm trying to find something with a FAMAS. Testes spamming away, Deagle in hand. Actually taking a bit of damage, but it's Beastic down to 58, which I guess is the positive, but a shock to find the first. Cadian dropped that scout out of the equation. With the HE drop ensues, Shock might just bounce off the back of it.
He does as well. Second headshot on that MP9, and that farms the cash on the T side too. That's all down to Shush towards the double stack position, because he's already been spotted and spammed down by Zedco. Stan is still here, but it's only one toward Neofrag. That should not be enough to do much. Refresh is trying to make some havoc happen on the side. Could actually go straight through it. Could get 2. He does. Bombs dropped on the side. This has completely turned this one around. Beastic has found Stan in the meantime, though, which means it's now all down to Refresh. Tapping slowly with a 5-7. Just can't finish off Beastic. 1 HP. Get that 1 in the chat. They get away with it, Sinners. Just about. And now should have a free path to 3 rounds. Look at this play from Refresh. We love to see that initiative taken on the pistol, trying to recover the situation. As soon as he dropped the bomb, I thought it was scary. But in the end, Sinners managed to resolve that situation. And they should, as I say, have a free path to 3 rounds with Beastic and Oscar on 2 MAC-10s, ready to farm the cash.
Yeah, it shows the inconsistencies of the 5-7 there, doesn't it? Finds 2 buttes up at close range. With the second, he has a little bit of distance between him and his opponent. It's when the 5-7 just has its weaknesses, and unfortunate to convert it. Oscar, though, could be tested here. Finds 1, but only 1. The quick trade coming in the AK needs to do God's work, and it will be Shock doubling down. In fact, no weapon saved across. That was an opportunity for the CT side to maybe pick themselves up a weapon to give them some sort of hope here on the CT side, but already falling apart. Backman comes through, and Beastic avoids it with ease. Ooh. Doubling down, taps away, and just like that, Sinners making it a 3-1 scoreline. A 2-round gap starting to be built up, and the way things are playing out and the way the economy is for the CT side, they could really pull away here. If Sinners are able to find a 4th here, they break the economy once again off Heroic on that CT side. They're forced into a double eco, and Sinners start to pull away.
Yeah, this is I mean, I always say that if you get to Vertigo in a best of 1 or a best of 3 and start on that map and start T, that's a big advantage. I've always thought it's a big advantage. Yeah, I've seen so many teams, you know, have a problem because of that T advantage on the CT side, but this is some initiative being taken by Cadian and Testes straight through those ramp smokes, and it will get them an opening duo frag. That now pushes Sinners over to the B site. Shush will easily defend against Zedco with the FAMAS. Tough angle, but he makes it happen. Oscar is here, though, and he will get the trade. It keeps the round alive, but it is a 2v4. Bomb is, of course, on their back, so it's not going to be too much of a problem to maybe make some advance toward the B site as the rotations are now coming in, but I think they may be a little bit too fast before Sinners get there.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's going to do it, Oscar is definitely someone to rely on. He's just a player who just always seems to be in the right position. However, they'll take a good chunk of damage now. Both Shock and Oscar in a tough spot. Down to where the M4 has become all the more scary, even regardless of the buff or not. Another waiting holding. Molotov in towards back pillar. Shock still looking for an opening kill. And Cadian swinging around the box, playing to perfection. Finds one, has the information on the second as well. And Oscar, the decision has to be made here. Does he even try to save? Will he be aware that maybe there's a chance he could be being flanked? And in fact, that is the case. Tess is in behind. He's a rock stuck in a hard place.
Absolutely, and with the flank from Testes, this could mean the op is out of his hands. I doubt he'll be safe here. He'll most certainly be peeked, at least hunted a couple of times. It will rotate off a bit though, and only leaving 1 player here means it could be possible, but there's the information, and he'll get away with that op. Testes is now on in the hunt. 17 seconds in the round to go. Can Oscar keep it? It's going to be tight. He'll be found by Testes, and there's the information. And a free AWP to boot as well. That could be a huge difference as this half goes ahead. Silence M4 is doing work once again. We're seeing so much fantastic fragging, multi-fragging as well on those Silence M4s. It's just the way to go these days. It's just that it's people who use the M4A4 are going to have to switch. I mean, it's just the way it is. Fire rate, of course, is better with the M4A4, but Silence in 4 is just looking way too good right now. We're seeing some utility dropped in spawn to be picked up maybe later on a rotation for a retake. And now Cadian on that orb, of course, dropped over. He is so consistent on that gun. It's been a stalwart of this team and have made, given his roster a lot of success. And now we get to see if Sinner's going to answer back. Oscar versus Cadian. This is an exciting battle to see.
I mean, these are two titans of their rosters, right? The two sort of stable players of the both of them, and whichever one performs better today is most likely going to be the difference maker. They're sort of catalysts for their own teams, right? And so far, it's Sinners who are ever so slightly in a position of strength. But of course, as you mentioned, those orbs making all the difference. Tessa's pushing in close as well, waiting for an opportunity, playing anti-flash, just hoping for a slight overextension which she can pounce on.
This close position is always very hard to play, but only if you're here solo. If you've got support by a player from Crane, by a player from Gap, it can be very useful. And there's the first. Now Beastic goes down. Oscar's here to help out though, and Neofrag will clean him out. And that's refresh down. So that could be the A site open for business. Down is rotating in, and he is here in a good amount of time. Reposition is good, but Sinners are aware that he could still be around and about. They're aware there's a possibility of one more player on the site. Stan will take a tick to the Molotov. That will reveal his position. The Grenades won't be able to clear him out entirely, but he's getting picked from two different sides, and Shock will find him. Shush gets one through the smoke toward Neofrag, but that's only the one. They do have retake utility. There's a grenade here from Cadian that could do significant damage to Shock. He's only 56 HP. It's going to be chunky. Or 54 damage, down to 2 HP. Unfortunately, Heroic do not have a second nade to finally clear him out. If Shock was just 2 HP lower than that, that would have been a successful nade, and maybe would have been interested in this retake a bit further than before. Oscar towards Sandbags, probably the best spot to be with that AWP to hold in the afterplant, and that because of that, Cadian and Shush are deciding to fall away. It will be a save. It will be Sinners with their fourth. That is a great recovery from them.
Yeah, that's really hard to play, especially in that sort of post-spawn as well. They know they have the early information with the AWP, trying to just lock things out from sandbags, and actually successfully does so. Doesn't find the frag, but the information alone just knows they're not crossing on towards the site, and that's all they're able to do. Heroic, they survive with too remaining players, but it's once again a 2-round lead picked up by the Sinners side. They're in a real position of strength, and of course, looking forward now, questions have to start being asked for Heroic. Their long-term economy is not great. The buy coming into the next one is going to be middling, to say the least. You know, Tessa's 2.2k, just going to be a FAMAS dropped across, and actually half armor kit, a bit of utilities. Not the end of the world by any means. But this forced buy for Heroic is a bit of a do-or-die situation, right? You know, lose this round, broken economy, double eco, and again, back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I mean, they've really gone all out on this one. It's down on the secondary AWP as well. And I think Oscar spotted the possibility that's a jump down toward the A ramp, possibly with some aggression. So he'll fall back off of it and not risk staying anywhere near those smokes. We saw Cadian, of course. We all know how good he is in the AWP. We all know that Stan can use it as well. The secondary works out very nicely for Heroic sometimes. And look at this rotation. There are 3 players toward B, but it's only really Zedco here at the moment. He's drawn 3 rotates, but this Molotov should force him away. That is a really nice bit of utility usage. Yeah. Just spreading. Zedco will be a bit sick about that one. And it does give Heroic a 5v4 to work with, of course, and a critical one as well when you only have the MP9 on refresh. Yeah,
of course. Now, an advantage for the CT side, all they have to do is play passive now. They don't really need to overextend. They don't need to go actively searching for information, right? They just need to play the trade game in their favor. Hence why we're seeing that utility dropped at this sort of stage. Less than a minute to work with as well. Sinners really not got a lot of control, but in comes a bit of utility in towards ramp.
Yeah, Beastic is up close as well, and this is probably the best position you could put Refresh on the MP9. It's still tough to multi-flag from this spot, but the bomb will be dropped over. This will definitely be an A play. Flash coming in comes the MP9. Oh, it's a big whiff though, and the movement doesn't work out. Shock punishes him, and now 4v4. We're back into an even situation, but both ults are here. Cadian and Stan are looking to defend this one. This is a tough one. If you obviously decide Wallback is coming in, it's so close, but Neofrag's been spotted on the top of the site. That's 1 down, and now Tessus has dealt with Shock as well. It's all down to Beastic and Oscar in a 2v4. Bomb is planted. It's still doable, but Heroic do have kits. There's the first from Oscar. Easy pick towards Stan. That looks so perfect, but Cadian was always going to be there. Nice trade from Beastic. In and out of 1 versus 2. Gets the first, but no, he can't complete the frag onto Shush. They were playing it too close. Exactly how it should be done. And Heroic recover their third, but only just.
And that's how you play a retake. Brilliantly done there by Heroic. All they had to do, again, was just play the man advantage. Of course, Refresh going for that aggressive peek in towards ramp. Doesn't manage to find himself a kill. with a slight whiff spray with the MP9, but the main thing is he finds that information, right? He knows there's 4 players over towards that ramp position, which he spotted on that swing, and of course, with at least a bit of damage dealt, it meant that retake had some sort of a backbone behind it, which they were able to convert. 3-4, 1 round lead at Sinner's Hole, but it's a tentative 1 round lead, as the buy coming into the next is ever so slightly middling, I guess you could say. 4 AKs, 1 Galil, and just whatever utility they can muster up, which to be honest isn't too much. Cadian go for the aggressive peek. Not going to spot anything. Neofrag just playing with fire a little bit there.
Yeah, man, there's a gap into those sandbags. He has to be careful, but he'll get caught reloading. Neofrag taking advantage of it. What a time to peek that one. And that does give Sinners a very cheeky 5 versus 4 to work with. I mean, of course, Heroic won the previous round, but they won it with only 1 player left alive. So their economy is not in a good spot either. It's a big swing round between these 2 teams right now. Shush will drop down, but he'll be heard by 2 players defaulting in front of the smoke. So this should be an obvious one for Sinners. They'll know that he's around about this position. Shush desperate to try and creep away. We'll take 1 bullet through the smoke. It's the classic AK-27 in 1. But Sinners, if they wanted to get away with an opening frag, they have a great chance now to possibly put some pressure on the B site. The rotation from Heroic is good. They've got 2 players here now. What does Sinners decide to do? 50 seconds on the clock. Stand up close with the silenced M4. The silenced M4 is so good now from close range. 4 bullets in the chest, of course, not 5 like the A4. And the bomb will be dropped over, but it makes noise on the floor. That's huge. Stanley will have heard that. That's all the information Heroic needs, but they will spam him down. It's not going to matter. And the Molotov has forced Shush out. That makes it a 4v2. There's a player up close. That is Cadian, but he has to fall back behind the smoke. Zedko's even got a line to spray it anyway. This should be a 5 for Sinners.
Oh, Zedko, look at this. He could go aggressive even further. The bomb plant, the post plant set up, and Zedko's got the information that, in fact, the retake's can have nothing behind it. Hence why Neofrag is further pushing forward, further waiting, and finding, in fact, finds Refresh. It's all down to Cadian now, 1 versus 4. He's all alone, left, trying to huddle away, keep that orb ticking across, and even still, that seems like a long shot to say the least, got so many angles to be wary of, as he's going to re-peek, reposition, will spot out Zedko. Just playing trigger discipline, finds himself 1, but look at Crade from Shock, and with 3 remaining players, that's Sinners to find 5. When we talk about a T-side execute over towards an A site, that's how you do it. That B side, I say, is just really well played, right? The aggression coming forward, the utility to allow them to have those picks in their favor, and of course, maybe ever so slightly a little bit of RNG with the spam through the wood working in their favor, or you could call it game sense. And it just shows that Sinners have that experience. 5-3, a 2-round lead once again picked up, but of course the big factor is a completely shattered economy for Heroic. Back to the pistols, back to the utility and armor with this force buy.
And Shock is wary of those pistols as well, already chucking down that Molotov toward middle to try and avoid a big bit of pressure. Yeah, that starting that previous round with 1 player has come back to bite Heroic. Means it's just a pistol from this one. The upshot on the dual Berettas, and this is an excellent flash from Shock, but it doesn't matter. If you're blind, just hold mouse 1. Sometimes it will work out, and this time he didn't even waste a bullet on that spray down. That was very clean indeed. And the Neofrag will find testers as well, and this is basically cleaned out the round. There are actually 3 players toward B here. Shush has the dual Berettas in position, but it's going to be a tough one, and he can't get anything done. That actually does tag Oscar down to 15 somehow, but that is all. And now it's just Refresh looking to try and get some exits on the Deagle. So Sinners going to reach 6. That's double the score of Heroic. And they are putting up a really good face on the T side at the moment. As you'd expect on this map, a map they play so often. Heroic technically unbeaten in the last 3 months on this map, but it was about a month and a bit ago that they last played it. So it's a bit rusty in that sort of situation in non-officials. BC will get the last, farming up the money with the MAC-10. They are looking good, Neo.
They are. They definitely are. So there's 6-3. We spoke about as well in a best of 1 format. When you're heading on towards Vertigo, to have that T side in your favor, to start on that T side is just so huge for momentum going forward. It's just such a big factor, and of course dictating the plays down, the tempo, and of course just starting to win that mind game, right? I think it's a big factor. Heroic's play style, they're mentally extremely strong. We've seen them clutch out time and time again. Cadian and Refresh have their own absolute highlight reel worthy clips. They're so strong in the mind games. If you can take that fight to them, that's when things fall in your favor. And of course Neofrag, Oscar, Shock, Beastic all one apiece. It's down to Stown in a matter of seconds in a 1 versus 4. He's being hunted, and Beasting knows exactly where he is. Easy pickings. And just like that, 7-3. Clean up crew.
Yeah, if you're heroic, I think if you get 5 or 6 on this half, you'll honestly be absolutely delighted because,
Yeah.
I mean, Sinners are showing a really great face. I mean, I've been casting this map, obviously, basically since it came out. I've loved it since it came out. Obviously, it's a bit like Marmite to some people, but even in its very early stages, it did feel
Mhm.
T-sided. In its current state, I reckon it's probably in its most T-sided state. I mean, it's so
Agreed.
easy with just a couple of, a bit of utility usage to get plants on A and get plants on B and play after plants, which is just impossible to retake. So you have to take aggressive picks like this. Down gets one toward Oscar. That actually does catch off the AWP of Oscar, but Shock trades it instantly. And look at Neofrag entering toward Tessers as well. This is just fantastic work from Sinners. We all know how good these guys are, and now they're showing it against some of the best in the world.
Yeah, you can say that. I mean, so far, so good. Again, that man advantage collected by the T side. They're one round away from guaranteeing themselves a lead heading into the second half already at such an early stage. With only 11 rounds played is just huge for their just mental fortitude going forward. Of course, now, I'm not going to count out Shush KD on a refresh by any means, especially the two clutch criminals. But in comes the utility, flashing to come forward as well, looking for their way in. Shush completely caught off guard by having to just hide away behind the box on site, but for the time being staying alive. A Shock from the side, catching refresh and forcing Shush into an aggressive position. He finds one, but that's all he can find. It's all down to one. Cadian, a 1 versus 2, finds the first to bring it to this 1 versus 2 situation, but the retake is going to be tough.
Yeah, it is tough. He doesn't have a defuse kit as well. The only thing that was working for him is he does have a smoke. It will go straight onto the bomb, and he can peek on a nice angle. He does deal with Shock, but look at the damage done. It's now all down to Neofrag. The one problem is it's only an instant headshot, and Kaden will find it. It didn't even look like it was directly on his head there, but it doesn't matter. They all count, and that could be a humongous clutch for Kaden. 1 versus 3 in total. That is one that Sinners will be looking back on later and thinking, okay, we've let one go there. That could be a critical round for Heroic, for Cadian's confidence. And it really sets them off. That's that's a tough one to lose.
That is, definitely. I mean, we talk about individual brilliance being a catalyst to team performance, succeeding. That's the perfect example. Cadian coming alive, finding a 1 versus 3. I mean, the clutch criminal comes alive once again, and he just consistently pulls out the most ridiculous rounds when you definitely don't expect him to. 4 versus 7, they're the nice Sinners finding an 8th. And technically speaking, Heroic can still win the half.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a really important round to win to stall that momentum that Sinners were building up. They cleared those 2 eco rounds very comfortably. And if like looking around, I think he's actually got into a position where Tesses isn't going to spot him, but he isn't going to check the angle, and that's going to be a free frag for Tesses. Now suddenly, Sinners looking a little bit shaky. Sure, they still have a 3-round lead, but out of nowhere, the clutch from Cadian is really put the cat amongst the pigeons on this CT half now. I'm surprised that clutch was so easily won in the end, but Sinners will be thinking, okay, we gave that one a little up way too easily. At the end of the day, though, it's you have to play it as it stands. A little bit of a swap coming in, and there's a utility. Cadian will be dropped an incendiary over in a situation where you may want to use it first, but he's actually going to be mollied off. He's going to be forced away. Cadian gets one, but the spray down could be good, and there we go. The utility usage from Sinners. Zedco with a double spray down. It recovers it into a 3v3. Refresh is here, though, and he's here in Ascendance. Gets 1, gets 2. Beautiful frag from the FAMAS, looking for a 3rd, and what a clean-up that is from Refresh. FAMAS is so hard to use in those sort of situations, and he made it look easy.
Oh, he just always manages to make sort of the weapons you don't expect so easy. Did it once with the glue in a 1 versus 5, and that time in a 1 versus 3.
True.
The FAMAS, a gun in which is, in my eyes, useless. Makes it look like the best in the server. Brilliant performance, and just like that, 5 rounds collected. Only a 2-round lead for Sinners, and at one point they were looking like they were going to run away with a half, and maybe even run away with this best of 1. And now we take a look. I mean, all the momentum seems to be in the sails of Heroic. They've picked up 5 consecutive rounds on the board. Long-term economy started to be built up. And, well, Sinners is essentially back to the drawing board. Their initial sort of executes that were looking so easy for them are now really being tested in the water.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we edge toward the last few rounds of the half. Their economy has been whittled down. This is basically their last buy. Last full buy, at least, in the next few rounds coming up. So this could, set the scene of what we see on the scoreboard at the end of the half. This could really go either way in this situation. And incredibly clean frags from Refresh. He had a little bit of a quiet game before that moment, but he was in the right spot at the right time. Made the FAMAS look like the best gun in the game, as you say. And now at 7-5, a huge round for Sinners. They could easily get themselves a 10-5, something like that, if they win this round. Will Heroic win it? I would say this is quite heavily favoured toward an even match. Zedco will already be dinked by a defender on the B side and naded down to 5 HP as well. Shush loves this angle on the edge of the railing, and now Zedco has to be forced to just sit there and play the default.
Yeah, well, so far, a little bit of damage done both ways. Zedco is taking the real brunt of it, down to 5 points. Needs to be careful not to overextend, or maybe the other way around. Zedco could be using essentially cannon fodder to find an entry in his favour. He's waiting for just a shadow to use to his advantage to find an opener, but tapping away. Shock needs to be careful. HE to come in. Might be able to catch a bit of damage, but Stown only taking a small chunk. As still all 5 men alive. And this time as well, Sinners, you can tell they're feeling the pressure because they slowed down the tempo massively.
Yeah, but look at Beastic. He's really about to peek behind this Molotov. Oh, and it's brilliant. Double spray down. That's a deceiving Molotov that Heroic have been caught off by. That is beautiful decision-making from Beastic. He's rewarded for it. He's down to 23 HP in response, though. That means that Heroic is still alive in this round. It's not over yet. Zedco and Beastic combined 28 HP. Neofrag isn't that healthy as well, and Stan is in position. He's got teammates to support as well. There's the first. He's mollied off, but he just about gets the smoke down when he goes down to 4 HP. Now it's Shush in support too. This should be unexpected, and there we go. Neofrag taken down. 10 seconds to go. The low HP of Beastic is dealt with, and Oscar will be spammed down by Refresh. In the end, it was too obvious. Even the flank coming in at the end. Heroic finds 6, just 1 behind, and Sinners without a bomb plant are on pistol armor.
Yeah, back to, well, essentially nothing. Just zilch in the bank for them, and it's going to be, as you mentioned, just the pistol armor, a bit of utility as they try and make something happen. Of course, the priority is getting this bomb down, but so far, in the sort of latter part of this first half, Heroic have been in complete control. We spoke about them, this map, they haven't played too much, but have normally been pretty decent on. Down holding, finding Zedco, just peeking into a scope that you maybe don't want to see on that entry. Stal making light work of the opener. 5 to 4 man advantage collected, and the double orb setup. One of the first times you've seen it in Vertigo so far, and already off to a flying start.
Yeah, it's the first time we've really seen it work out for an important opening pick as well. I mean, Cadian's had a great clutch, but it wasn't with the AWP, it was with the M4A1S. But in comes to play toward B, and some utility available to work with. They're going to go straight through the Molotov, though. And look how close Neofrag is. Shush will just about save his teammate's life. Staying on the AWP, could be under pressure close up, but he's going to get himself more frags. Another one, drops the bomb as well. All down to Oscar, and he is found too. Look at that cleanup. No one took a point of damage on Heroic. It's 7-all. They're starting to show their superiority now. Sinners have had a great start, but this is now a half that could really be a lot better for Sinners. Heroic looking very, very good.
Do you know what? When I said, Heroic, they can still win this half, 8-7. That was back when it was 7-3, and it was a joke. Well, that joke's come into fruition, and for once we haven't cast the curse there. Heroic looking so strong here, but of course, they could go anyway in the final round of this half, round number 15, as they look for the entry over towards A. Going for a slight boost above the smoke, but actually there's no smoke in this left-hand side, and that's why they're just going to fall away. Don't want to be overextended and caught off guard. The double AWP setup still in play. Stown and Caden be the ones to wield that, supported by the M4A1Ss.
Yeah, and of course, this is a huge round for Sinners. Honestly, they'd love to go into the second half with a lead. It's been a tough half for them overall in the last couple of rounds, especially Heroic. The clutch from Cadian really was a momentum starter to get them back even once again. And especially, it just helps the economy too. I mean, it allowed Stown to get that double AWP out as well. And Sinners are going to go back to basics. We see it so often on Vertigo. Bit of control to the other portions of the map, then go back toward the bottom of A ramp, look for something, and then go for an execute in the end. Unfortunately, though, the problem is their utility is in a horrible state. They have 1 Molotov, 1 smoke, and 1 flash left with 50 seconds to go. And look how many players are here for Heroic. 3 in defense. How many are they going to get? That's 1. Traded instantly by Oscar nicely, but they're not going to expect Cadian to reface. Actually, he misses his first shot and gets punished for it. Shush gets 1 more, though. And look how low Shock is. There's the frag. Now it's all down to Beastic in a 1 versus 2. Shush has to get out of that situation and will be heard. Spam comes down, almost actually takes him down. With 30 seconds on the clock, the bomb can be recovered. And Beastic, I think it can be recovered. Yeah, looked like it was stuck under the map for a second there. I was a bit worried for a second. But yeah, he will be able to go off toward B silently.
Yeah, of course now. Let's make a decision. Off towards B he goes. A completely barren B bomb side as well, as they're just going to essentially flood their way in. The site, the rotation being drawn across. 10 seconds left on the clock. They know they have to be committing towards the site. Gonna try and get this bomb down, gets off it, but it's gonna be dropped. Shoosh, easy pickings, and just like that, it's an 8-7.5 in favor of Heroic. They managed to turn that one round. We'll be heading into a very brief break before we get underway in towards the second half. Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the IEM Fall C stream. Heroic come back from 7-3 down to take the half 8-7, and what a way to do it. The Danish side, the fourth best in the world, showing exactly why they're in that position. I'm Naokai, joined by Travis. Going to be your reaction for the second half, starting now.
Absolutely, and yeah, Heroic, that clutch from KD in that 1v3 total, that really was the catalyst to pull them back into this half. They hadn't lost a round since then, and now it's down to Sinners on the CT side. Arguably the harder side on Vertigo to try and win it out and take a very cheeky upset victory over Heroic. But despite the fact that Sinners have played it a lot more, Heroic look very well set in this one. Beastick has the utility on the CT defense. They have the kit on shot. Heroic, once again, as you would expect, work their way up toward the A ramp. That's an excellent grenade in defense. So Cadian's down to 34 HP, no armor. Means that he's really taken a huge chunk off of that one. And now they're going to have the sight, but even though Sinners are playing retake, they've done so much damage. Oh my goodness, look at the taps through the smoke. Neofrag in the end finishes off Refresh, and that is an insane opener because look at the HPs on the others. This is very doable on this retake now. Utility's about to come in. 5v4. Neofrag to a double stack. What can be done here?
Oh, of course. as you mentioned, the man advantage in favor of the CT side. The post plants are so strong here from Heroic. They're very aggressive as well. They've set up these crossfires, which leave them in a real position of strength. These flashbangs could be everything. In comes the utilities. They're flooding the way forward. Need to get the close angle, but on the bomb. In fact, no way that's going to stick a shock. Not a chance. And that comes in. Tetes will deny. Back to the 2-on-2. Make that the 1 versus 2. Just Beastic all alone. Low HP on Cadian and Tetes just needs to be unbelievably crisp here. We'll find one, but that's a trade. It nearly was a shock defuse from Shock, but unable to come to fruition. 9-7 as Heroic take the pistol round and continue their dominance and momentum off the back of a strong end to that first half. And, well, I mean, Trav, it shows how much of a difference one round can make.
Absolutely. I mean, I think getting Shock, I'm sure he has a flashbang to create havoc there. I think getting onto the bomb straight away, while there's so many players still alive, is a little bit too fast. I think you have to try and play the retake with your teammates, because basically you're just giving up a man there just by sticking a player on the defuse. Of course, having the kit is tempting, but at the same time, it was a bit of a risk that unfortunately did not pay off. Zedco is near the smoke on the Deagle in the upcoming round, and Heroic are trying to take B quite quickly here. With a player close left already. Zedco just shoulder spotting the angle with that Deagle, and he'll look to try and catch one. Almost takes the head off of Shush, but not to be, and Heroic aren't going to pounce on it. But yeah, that was a little bit too rushed, I think, Neo, on that CT retake. Of course, Cadian was playing that cheeky angle behind the railing as well, which made him basically impossible to hit and impossible to be spotted on that retake. And in that situation, 3 headshots from him, even on 7 HP. And yeah, that was a little bit of inexperience perhaps showing there from Sinners.
Yeah, agreed. No, I think you're spot on. I think it was just a little bit overzealous when it definitely didn't need to be. And of course now it's left Heroic in a really strong position, but with less than a minute left on the clock, Heroic are slowly making their way over towards ramp. Stone just spamming through. Thought he spotted a shadow, not to be the case. Slightly giving up the ruse of where they're going to be posted up, hence why the utility's coming forward. Now they just need to flood their way in. Oscar Scout in hand needs to do something monumental here.
He's being boosted as well. It's not often you see the boost coming in toward the heaven position. You will fall off of it for now, but it could be a spot that isn't as easily pre-fired as before, and he will get an opening tag, but it is only the Mac 10 to take the tag, so it should not be too much of a problem. Another tag coming in, though. So much damage has been done. Shock has finished off down through the smoke with the Deagle. Refresh should be able to plant the bomb and plant it safely as well. It's a little bit risky, but Tesses is holding his angle, and look where Shush is. He's coming in on a big flank right now. This could easily deal with Sinners, and Tesses even tapping down Neofrag through the smoke. That is going to be an easy bit of guessing work there. Of course, he knows his angles. He's played the map enough. 4v3 though still. They did deal with the flanker. Shock getting a nice headshot once again. 2 frags for him on this round so far, but Cadian is not going to show anything. He's too experienced for this. Refresh looking for something here on the Mac 10. Shock looking for another headshot. There's a third. Oh, he's got 4 kills.
No.
Shock in looking for the ace, and Oscar cleans it up. That is an insane retake. They should have enough time for the defuse. What about that from Shock? It's going to be close, but I think they've got it.
They're going to get it, I think. Yeah, just about. Shock, that is something special. A quad kill to his name and Oscar on cleanup. What a way to make that retake work in their favor. You know, some people question the Deagle now, saying, it's, you know, not really as viable anymore, and Shock showing us why it most definitely is still in contention. 4 kills to his name and 4 beautiful frags found. We speak about isolation of fights, and from Shock, that is exactly how to do it, especially coming in with a force buy of just Eagles. And now, for Heroic, it's back to square one for them. They're going to have to be pulling out somewhat of a mixed buy, just a couple of aggressive pistols supporting a couple of Glocks. It's not the easiest by any means in round number 18.
They're actually taking the pain here. Obviously, usually you see the force buy battles come in when you know, the force is won, but they realise that with the bomb plant they have around 2k per player, so they can save and get the AKs in the next. Yeah. But yeah, that's an insanely unlikely round victory for Sinners. Shock just going above and beyond that, up to 15 and 11 on the scoreboard for his team. Actually 16 and 11, I believe, instead. And yeah, this is just fantastic. Incredible situation to recover when you didn't have a defuse kit either, so they had to hurry up about it. And you hit the shots anyway. If I will chuck down that right-click smoke, gives you a little bit of a one-way over the top of it on the edge of the building. But yeah, this should be a Sinners round. We should be 9-all. Heroic taking the patience, and definitely the right thing to do in this situation.
I agree. I think it's definitely the position to be in as they speak already. Things are looking pretty good, but hang on a second. The T-side have already made their way onto the site, but they haven't cleared Neofrag. Tessus is on site, but he might relay misinformation that That position is clear. Beastic, nade in hand, and this sort of raid. The Eagles spamming Neofrag, something special, but quickly overwhelmed from both sides, leaving the site in their favour. Tesses, will he be cleared? Yes, he will. Full blind. Oscar finds the frag nonetheless, but bomb planted.
Yeah, that was so dangerous, and now Refreshers hit another headshot. It's even more so. They have a defuse kit available on Zedco. This is still absolutely fine for Sinners, despite the man disadvantage. But now they're going to be feeling nervous. Some insane shots hit. Oscar was lucky to get away with that one frag in the end as well. So can come in through the bomb, and they're just going to go full running, all three players, and that's the way to do it. Now it's all down to Shock in a 1v3. Refreshers in the smoke as well. Knife out once again. He knows he can stop the defuse if he decides to go for it. Shock recovers the kit, but has to fall away. And of course, the Deagles, even not on a proper force buy, win out once again.
Wow. Well, I mean, we said it was a force buy from Sinners before, and of course, you know, it's not expected, but when it happens, like, okay, you know, really well played. I say the fight, individual brilliance there from, you know, Shock to find a 4K. But with that middling buy, they brought in 2 Glocks into that round, and they managed to convert it. This is why, you know, Heroic are seen at times as pistol gods, and they make it work once again, 10-8. Their first side to hit double digits, and to be honest, while it was, you know, credit to Heroic, really well played from them, I think that's just a bit of a throw from Sinners. They made mistakes. They were very, very like actively searching for frags when they definitely didn't need to. They had the better firepower. All they had to do was hold down the fort, but Neo frag. Oh, bye-bye refresh. Next round.
Yeah. See you next round for that one. They're going to go for a boost as well. I think those are silently done too. Are they going to expect it? Neofrag's sticking around. The Molotov won't touch them, but now they'll fall off a bit, so it will be heard. But yeah, that was an insane opening pick. Of course, Shock is still alive with the AK as well. They're once again going for, you know, not the full investment. Exactly how Heroic did, so who knows? Maybe they'll hit straight back once again. I think that previous round, Neo, you're absolutely right. The fact that Tesses got up toward double stack, where, you know, the player playing double stack wasn't expecting it and got caught off with the Deagle spam, that was the instigator to create problems. And that was, in the end, the main reason that Sinners got overrun. Oscar will get taken down, but he's expendable on just the USP. Now, Shock is around and about once again in his favourite spot, apparently, on this A site. Frag on the edge of the building. If you're scared of heights right now, look away. Holding the angle, Shock does get one. And now, 4v3, this is doable.
Definitely doable. Of course, run away forward, Shock and Star go one apiece. Back to the 2 versus 3, and of course we speak about finding the trades in their favour. That's exactly what they're looking for. Star will be heard going down the ladder though. That's a sound cue game. The bomb dropped. Shock still needs to be cleared as KD will drop a smoke in his position, allowing him somewhat of a safer passage as they're just trying to find something, but Shock, all he had to do was just keep tapping, hold head height, and Star not able to find that shot. The 1 versus 3 maybe asking just a little bit too much. 9 rounds collected, and again, back to only 1 round difference between these two.
They won't be separated, will they? Shock, that's another 4 kills on the AK-47 this time. Not the Deagle. He can do, he's a jack of all trades, is Shock. He is showing up in this second half, that's for sure. Up to 20 kills already. 8 kills in around about 3 rounds. Fantastic work from him. He's keeping Sinners in this game, basically single-handedly winning out these 2 force buys. Oscar can now afford to go for aggressive peaks as well on the AWP. But obviously, it's going to be a force buy from Heroic. They have a decent buy themselves this time with the, you know, the money being built up over those rounds won and kills taken. So it's still going to be a difficult round for Sinners to even it up. It's not going to be as easy in inverted commas as it should have been before. But as it is, it's still keeping Sinners close and keeping them in the game.
Yeah, so far, so good for Sinners. They're just keeping that arms distance away, trying to just chip away the deficit. And of course, for the time being, only 1 round behind. Big spy as well to a degree. It was the UMP and the Deagle being brought in for Heroic. We're not going to count them out by any means because they've converted it with less. But a 5-on-5 is for the CT side now for Sinners. They learn off the back of their mistakes. They're not overextending too much. A Beastie could be in a strong position to find something. Refresh spotted, finds one, but the quick trade from KD and the AWP to good use. However, damage dealt to Tesses.
Yeah, and the fact that Shush has been the player to sacrifice himself in this round was going with the Deagle and no armor, just being the player to be, you know, be the B anchor on the default on the T side. It puts him a bit of a disadvantage there as well. It was good damage from Beastie. I'm sure he only gets 1, and it's only the UMP taken out of Refresh's hands, but still. This is very doable indeed for Sinners. Shush on that deagle. They grouped up toward B. 25 seconds to go. Zedco is in a perfect spot. They do not have a Molotov to clear this out. If he gets the support from teammates, he could be in for multi-fragging here. Here comes one. Should be an easy frag to what Tess says. He goes down. Should be easy as well, as he was low HP and armorless. And now it's all down to Kaden because Zedco took Shush in the meantime. Or Shock took one in the meantime, sorry. And now he has to fall away. 4 seconds. It will be 10-all. It will be an even game. Cadian, no choice but to save. This is exactly what I want to see for an exciting match.
So that 10-10. This game, you know, we've already had a couple of games go right down to the wire, and I think this game might follow exactly suit. We've already had 2 16-14s today, and both of those were, well, exciting to say the least. Yeah. And this one could be one to follow suit. 10-10, a timeout called now by Heroic. They know they're in a bit of a tough spot here. Of course, the AWP in the hands of Cadian, but it's not going to be supported by much. And the question is, how do they want to play this? Do they go for the force buy around it with upgraded pistols, armor, whatever utility they can pick up? Or do they essentially go for a full eco and just kind of leave Cadian's bank in a really rough spot and just hope he can pick up a couple of kills?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a decision to make for sure. It's a tough one. Because you've won rounds with a lot less, and if you can get a pistol into the play, get a CT to show themselves to clear it off, and just have Cadian holding the line, you can just get easy trades and a path to a bomb site. So it's a tough one for Heroic to choose, but they will in the end just choose to keep Cadian on that AWP, and that's all. Oscar is toward B. That grenade is nicely timed, should do a lot of damage, and it will actually do it only a little bit to Shush, not as much as I expected. But I think at least that should force other players into different positions, and there we go. Shock will take down on the secondary AWP. First time we've seen that in this game. They are looking to try and knuckle down here and take this lead once again. Shock up to 22-12. He is having a game and a half at the moment.
Well, so far, 4 versus 5, of course, Heroic trying for the way forward. That's a beautiful flash though, and Neofrag finds 3. B-Stick, use of utility expert, and at least Cadian all alone now at 1 versus 5, and well, he's pulled off special things before, and I think this may be asking a little bit too much. Don't want to be too quick to judge, because he has been known to be, well, a god at times. But he won't be able to even find one of his shots.
Being the key word.
At time, yeah, exactly that. Neofrag, brilliant from him though. What a round, and just like that, it's actually Sinners who take the lead, 11-10.
Yeah, and I mean, again, look at this spray from Neofrag. Oh, it's just so beautiful. 2 headshots as well on the spray transfer to boot. Really sets Sinners off well. That's some confidence to work with. B-Stick, it's Shock, B-Stick, and Neofrag that's really done some of the great work so far in this series. And of course, in the best of ones, you can always see upsets and possible upsets. This is, I feel like, the closest we've been. We had Aura earlier, but Heroic, they're a top 5 team. So this is one that could easily be the most interesting of the day. I expected Sinners would pop a good fight, especially as I saw Vertigo being the map pick. But now, with them on the lead and the buy of Heroic, a bit messy. 3 AKs and 2 Tech 9s. This is very doable indeed. Neofrag not choosing to commit to the boost yet, but now he will, and he spots Tessez. 5v4 early on.
5 versus 4 again, as you mentioned early on. Sinners in a real position of strength, and of course with Cadian and Refresh only having the double Tech 9s, it does start to beg the question to a degree. Shock needs to be careful though. Boost up in towards mid. It's something which he, for the time being, isn't so aware of. Look at the steps, though. Jumping forward. Tech 9. Refresh. Just loves going aggressive in his face. Zeka finds 1, but it's Shush on the trade. Again, bring it back to that 3 versus 3. And now at a level standing, they can make it work. Full by both ways. And B-Stick jumping around corners, causing issues all over the server. It's a manic round of the bomb trying to make it to the site. And the Deagle spam will connect.
I can't believe they almost got the bomb back to the site there. Oscar's lucky to just about get that one. If that was, pre-Deagle nerf, that could be a bit of an easier one, but not to be. He just about gets it either way. And now it's down to Shush in a 1 versus 2. They managed to recover the bomb, and he's been wide out of position. They try and tap away at him. They're using the pistols. They're not using the AWP yet, and they will pounce on it. Neofrag takes him down. What a huge round that is for Sinners to win. As soon as Refresh got that cheeky frag with the Tech 9 and picked up an AK, we knew Zedco defaulting towards site was in trouble. Going 1 for 1 was good. It was enough to keep Sinners in touch in an even situation. And now they have a 2-round lead. Bomb Plump will keep Heroic buying, but this is getting very possible now for Sinners, Neo.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about upsets today. As you mentioned, this is a top 5 side in Heroic on a map in which it may not be one they've played too much before, but I've always been, well, in somewhat a strong position on it. And now if you take a look, Sinners seem to be in complete control. On CT side, dictating tempo, dominating when it comes to their play style, and Heroic in a really tough spot. Of course, fullback coming out, but a similar situation. Lose this back to a double eco, and on C side, that could be more or less job done and dusted. Early bit of ramp control coming forward. Double orb setup as well. This time it's Oscar and Shock being the ones to wield the big greens. Can they make it work?
Yeah, and what I loved in that previous round as well is that B-Stick with the MP9 just took the initiative straight away. That was the key frag in the end. You know, it wasn't even the demon frag from Oscar. It was the fact that he jumped in on the MP9 and dropped that bomb in a tough spot. So that was a huge factor. But look at this, Heroic is going through smoke. Kaden will get caught off, but unfortunately B-Stick's get caught with a grenade out, and that's a great trade. Oscar can't even get one. The flash from Refresh helps out, and now it's down to Shock on the defense, looking for more. Trying to get traded by Tess says if he gets one frag back, this is still doable, but Stown realizes that mid is open. He can go in for this luck, and he takes the head off of Shock. That should be a heroic round. Zedko is here in position, but he's in between a rock and a hard place, and Tessis will pick it out. Heroic answer back quickly, and unfortunately a little bit of fumbling with grenades there by Sinners on the A side. Easy to get peeked from Gap, the yellow tarp area, and that puts them down now to just one round in the lead. Well, these teams just won't be separated.
No, not at all. It's, again, another game that looks like it's going to go down to the wire, but credit to Heroic, much better from them. They took that early step back, right? They were assessing the information they had ahead of them. Once they picked up that opening kill as well, then all they had to do, again, was just play that game of trade, which they did perfectly. They managed to secure the site, set up the post plants, and everything fell into place. Missed shot from Katie, and a beasting a near frag will punish.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that choice to push with the MP9 and the M4. Katie missing his shot is huge, but don't go checking the angle. Near frag, though, that's a huge trade. Stan will try and answer back, but he can't make it happen. That's the bomb dropped. Pure aggression from Sinners is going to work out. Look where Shush is. He's nowhere. He's on B. He's clearing the site for the future, but there is no future. Sinners are about to reach 13 unless Shush does something ridiculous. What a choice to aggress toward A ramp there. That is bang on. Beautiful shot from Shush towards Shock. And now economy damage could be the order of the day.
Well, you know, I've said, you know, throughout today that I do love a bit of CTL aggression. I think it's very good for turning the tide. So, well, take a look at that. Sinners do it to perfection. And, you know, you could argue they may be slightly overextended, but if you're going to hit the shots, well, that's a win-win situation. And Oscar on cleanup never misses those. You're going to give him an opportunity like that, he'll take it 10 times out of 10. Oh, so 13-11. Sinners take a 2-round lead once again. They're in a real position of strength. 3 rounds away from the all-elusive 16, and Heroic, their backs are against the wall and their economy in the bin.
And that was just, you know, absolutely alpha male plays there from Neosfrag. Yeah. I love that push. I mean, going with the MP9 first, the fact the MP9 got the kill first as well toward Cadian is ridiculous. I mean, in the end, unfortunately, you have to blame Cadian for that one. If he takes that first kill, there's no player in support to push toward Gap and push down to the bottom of a ramp. So, unfortunately, Cadian having a little bit of a quiet game. That one clutch earlier is really the only thing that's gone for him so far in this one. Bit of noise made by Sinners looking to attempt to go for a boost, but in the meantime, Heroic all over B. Zedko holding close, but that's an easy position to pre-fire. They need to be wary of this. In comes U13, needs one here, gets one, almost two. That is actually not too bad because Tessis is down to just 2 HP, but the site is theirs.
Yeah, Oscar holding that warp in hand. Got the cross at least, but it needs reactions, which, well, I definitely wouldn't be able to pull off as he holds and waits. So he knows they haven't crossed on towards the side. Now they have. Missed shot, and Tessis punishes. Beastic will at least find one of his own MP9 at that close range. Able to convert as the flashbang comes through. He's going to double down, in fact. Would he be aware of refresh in towards default? That's the real question. Swinging in towards the left-hand side of Generator. AK playing. Trigger disappeared. A shock punishes. Refresh. Maybe should have just taken his chances while he can, because it's now left in a 1 versus 2, and Cadian 13 points of health. He's clutched out a 1 versus 3 before. He's found the first now, but this time with 13 points of HP, does he have it in him? Smoke on towards the bomb. The defuse most likely to come through momentarily, and I think he may just try and keep on what he's got, as Oscar will be the one to clean it up. Rare emote just to add insult to injury. Sinners find 14. What a game we have had here so far, Trav.
Oh, that is absolutely nutty. I mean, again, more aggression from Beastick on the MP9 with flashes from teammates. You just love to see that. That's what you need to do. Take the initiative
Yeah.
in these situations. You can't sit back as a CT on Vertigo, and they know it. They are looking fantastic on their CT side. I mentioned how Vertigo can be T-sided. It just is T-sided, plainly. But Sinners are making the CT side look very good right now. As you say, also getting that rear animation with his knife, showing off. He knows that at the moment, Sinners are in a god-tier position. They are so close to pulling off probably the upset of the RMR so far.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, most people expected Heroic just to waltz through this group, and now, Sinners, of course, no disrespect to them, a top 30 side who are very good in their own regard, but it does show, to a degree, how much the best of one formats can work in favour of the underdog, and Zedco causing all the more problems. Shush, out of the equation, 4 versus 5, an advantage collective on the CT side, and now for Heroic, doing a real tough spot. 1 Galil, 3 AKs to try and find 12.
Yeah, the only thing going for them is the fact they do have utility. Plenty of Molotovs as well. In fact, 3 remaining. And they're going to go for a little boost toward the wooden panel on the edge of the B stairs. Down is going to put there. And he has a chance now to catch Zedco off guard. It is actually Zedco and a teammate in support, so they have got support of B-Stick here as well. But look at the timing from Zedco. He's peeking at the right time. So much damage done to Cadian, but Stown is now up close. He will get caught off by Tesses, will Zedco, and there's Stown taking B-Stick. That didn't look like it would go that way, but it has. And now, surely, with Cadian catching off a flank, that'll be Neofrag down. That should be the round. Shock is still here. If he gets 2 frags, it's doable, but I doubt they'll give him anything. There are 2 AWPs remaining, looking to try and retake. You just don't retake this. You have to save it if you are Heroic. Oscar is already leaving the situation. I think Shock will try and follow suit.
Yeah, bomb plants are now much better there. They just had the entries in their favour. And of course, once Seiko was dropped out of the equation, it did just leave that site pretty barren, pretty exposed, right? And, well, for Sinners, they're just going to keep hold of that double AWP setup going forward. It's, at least, you know, a pretty good thing to say, right? The AWPs are a very expensive investment going forward and something long-term, which, of course, you want to keep hold of. But Sinners maybe slightly fumbled that they had the information that there was definitely a few people over towards that ramp position. And in fact, actually, Heroic, they're going hunting. Now, with their economy in a bit of a low state, you can see this as risky, but I quite like this play. They know they need to do something special, and of course, with the orbs in play, they want to get them out of here. But Shock is just too quick. Refresh, jumping across, in fact, being dropped down, and, well, maybe 12 to Heroic. Sinners keep the double orbs taken across.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, and the fact they have the double ups still in this next round means that they can go for a full buy in this one. Oscar has 8.5 in the bank, and Shock has 4 as well. So, I mean, they can drop 2 guns. Look at B-Stick, 1650, Zedco 1700. It's not the best, but you will absolutely fully invest into this one. There's no reason not to. You know, you have a chance to reach 15. I have to say, right now, this game reeks of overtime. I'm not sure how you feel about it, but we haven't had an overtime so far today. We've had 2 16-14s and 2 games which look like they could have both easily gone to overtime. And now, with Sinners a 2-round lead at 14-12, it's now anyone's round. Of course, the M4A1S is 2900, makes the drops a little bit nicer for the CTs. And they'll be able to be at full strength for this one. Heroic backs against the wall, but we know how good they are in situations like this.
Precisely that. It's going to be 4 AKs, 1 Galil to take on the double M4A1S and 1 AUG. There's the AUG actually got the early information, but Tesses just rips off Neofrag's head. That's such a monumental kill for pushing forward. And of course now, Heroic, they can start to get a lot of map control off the back of that, with no ramp control really in their favour. It's all down to Oscar, AWP in hand, delivers fast, drops the bomb as well, and actually that could be the rotation called early doors.
Yeah, and the fact that B-Stick was still around and about as well towards sandbags mean that he helped out his teammate Oscar, so he didn't get swung on for an instant trade. Sure, it is still a 3 versus 3, but it keeps Sinners in this round. Heroic will fall back toward the B stairs slowly, but at the moment, it's only Zedco there, around and about the B site to defend, near the gen position at the moment toward the window, looking to try and stop any players coming toward this B site, taking it very slowly though, and they don't need to rush. There's a minute left on the clock. They can take their time in this situation. That's a little bit of boost coming in toward the edge of the railing here to try and stop a player on the edge of the site. The smoke will block off any vision for now, but they can creep up. That's the boost that sends Shush into position. Zedko is here. If he goes 1 for 1, it might be enough. There's one, and there's a bit of a gap to the second player, though. Heroic are a bit split up. This could be a problem because Shock is rotated in, and that's dropped the bomb. Now it's all down to Stan. He looks for the flank, spots it. He has to go for it quickly. Can he catch up Oscar? Oh, he's 1 HP. Can you believe it? That could have instigated a clutch if he got that frag. But now they have to find Zedko first, and he's got a lovely off angle towards the corner of the wooden panel. Will he find him? That's the information, and he gets spammed straight through it. 15 for Sinners. They have match points against Heroic.
What a time to be a Sinners fan. And of course, no real question needs to be asked. We're going to see a tactical timeout call by the likes of Heroic. 12 to 15. Sinners are 1 round away from pulling off the David versus Goliath scenario here. The 4th best team in the world in that Heroic.
Look at the Heroic money.
Yeah,
oh
and I mean, the pressure must be just undeniable. They've been in tough spots before, but of course now against the Sinners, a side who have been so on form, the 21st side in the world, in a real strong position. And as you mentioned, that buy is going to be brutal. It's a double Deagle, double AK-1 Galil. Trav, the pressure on the Danes' shoulders must be immense.
This is so huge. They're in a great position, Sinners here. They can afford to buy after this round as well, even if they lose it. I think they'll have around about, 3 rifles, so they're going to have a great chance at closing this one out either way. This could be their one chance, though, for now. Oscar going for an aggressive peek, and they'll make it happen. Oscar rolling back the years right now. This is the Mouse Sports Oscar that we remember from the good old days of 2018. Nearfrag, of course, is going unaccounted for as well. Gets the first, even a lineup for the second, but Refresh still hits the headshot somehow. 4v3 still for Sinners to work with, though. Refresh is low, of course, as I mentioned, but it keeps Heroic alive in this round. Stan has not got a rifle to pick up. Is that going to be a problem?
Yeah, of course. Now tempo slowed right down. Of course, Refresh on that low HP. They don't want to overextend by any means, and they've got the man disadvantage. It's not the position you want to be in, especially when Sinners are 1 away from taking a win here. Molotov in towards back pillar. Seiko just going to sit in front of it. Actually, Molotov on towards default. Maybe not quite making the distance as expected. Refresh just slowly inching his way forward. They're ever so aware of a player post up in this close position. And, of course, over towards Tetris, it's Oscar.
Yeah, and the problem is that Stan is nowhere near Refresh, so he can't drop that AK to Stan, which would obviously be the idea in this sort of situation when you have a rifle so low. Give it to the player who's higher HP. And look at the patience from Sinners and Heroic right now. They realise how important this round is. Basic looks like he wants to hold W, though. He knows how aggressive he's been in this game and how much it's worked. Oscar has an incendiary primed. If they go for this bomb plant, Stan has recovered a Galil, so that's something. But there is the Molotov coming in. That means they have to plant in the corner. And because of the low HP on Refresh, this is risky. Look how careful Sinners are being right now. The bomb will get planted, but Basic is still unaccounted for. Toward Gap, there's 1, there's 2. That could be it. Shush is now in a 1 versus 4. The bomb is planted for him, but it's not going to matter. He gets the first headshot. Oscar goes down. A little bit of an overzealous pick, perhaps, but it's still such a tough situation for Shush. The smoke isn't too great. They don't realize where the bomb is. It's on the right-hand side, my friend. Could that be a blunder? It's a tough one for Shush to reach, but it should be spotted towards Sandbags. Has to be a position to look for, and he will get taken down by Shock. It's going to be a defuse. It's going to be an upset. Sinners beat Heroic in the IEM Fall RMR. What about that?